Well, here we are. We're just going to hang out for a while live while we wait for a few people to check in and for Max to log on. So I'm just going to sit here for a second. How's everybody doing out there? I hope you're doing well. I see people popping in. Look, TK, dedicated ALC chair, popping in to say hello. Hi. Some peeps popping on. Now we just need to wait for our mystery guest. Max might not come on right away because we were going to give it a few minutes at 7 just so people could find their way on. Shout out to Allison. I should probably just for safety. Chewy's is good stuff. Aha, there's the man I'm looking for. There he is.
Hello.
Oh, you've got a cameraman. That's excellent.
Yeah, I have a whole crew that's taking care of me.
Rightly so. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm fine. I was just over at Shannon's house singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" for a porch concert.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Was there a ball game?
There isn't a ball game there, but there's like baseball happening, and so she wanted everybody to take the 7th inning stretch and have a little.
I don't know anything about the sports with balls.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's really all right. So we'll wait a couple minutes here and then get started, I guess.
Yeah, you got it. I got all dressed up.
You're all dressed up.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I put my iPad in a way that it could have a good angle on me, and I can't see the screen. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm just talking to your disembodied voice and to my.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm wearing pink.
I'm watching live from my phone in front of me, but there's a delay, so it's not worth looking at.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's not helpful at all.
Yeah.
I have a tripod on my stove. That's my setup.
I'll try that next time.
It's pretty good. All right, well, we're here.
We sure are.
Let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. So thanks for joining us on Instagram Live, everyone. My name is John Klinghammer, and I'm a clarinet player and bass clarinet player with the Kansas City Symphony. And I am acting as your host for what will hopefully be a series of interviews with Kansas City musicians, Kansas City Symphony musicians. The first one of which, of course, is Max Pipinich, who is your title is second bassoon, am I correct?
Yes, that is correct. So I play low notes.
You play low notes, yes, correct. Max is our new second bassoonist. He joined the orchestra just this year. And in fact, you haven't even played a full season with us yet.
That is correct, yeah.
Because we got cut short because of COVID. So the first thing I wanted to ask you, and we could go into your background a little bit, but it's the most recent thing that's happened, which is your actual audition for the orchestra. And I was just curious if you could take us through, that particular audition experience, coming to Kansas City and the 2 days of the audition. Was there anything that stood out, or, what was that like?
Well, yeah, the Kansas City Symphony runs extremely clean auditions, and like there are about 1 billion warm-up rooms, and and the thing I remember the most is showing up and being in a room for like 3 hours before I played, which is like not a thing usually. Usually you have like 20 minutes in a you know sort of cattle call room, and then you have like 20 minutes somewhere by yourself. And for bassoonists, it's always this question of like, where should I put my case, and should I pack up, and should I bring all my things, and how much stuff can I have with me, and like, am I going straight on stage from this room or from that room, and like, you know, it's a logistical nightmare. And it was very simple, and it was lovely.
That's good. When you say a clean audition, you mean like it's just really well run, is what?
Yeah, logistically very clear and easy to understand from an auditionee's perspective.
Right.
You know, very little room for misunderstanding and or miscommunication, or like someone ending up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like that was not a thing, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is such an important thing. Like auditions are so stressful and strange and terrible, you know, and so when you arrive somewhere and it seems like the orchestra is trying to put you at ease and help you play your best, it's such a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean it is in the orchestra's best interest for everyone there to play the absolute best that they can, right? Like they want that to happen, I think.
Yeah, fingers crossed. That's what they're going for.
They want people to sound good. They want to hire someone that they feel
right.
great about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting. Like I was on your committee, the committee listening to that audition, and it's such an odd experience to be on audition committees trying to pick, you know, someone to join your orchestra, because you don't see any of them, of course. You're sitting in the concert hall listening to these bassoon sounds coming at you for 2 days and trying to figure out which one of these guys is who's the guy who's got the stuff, you know?
Right.
Oh.
It's with the low notes.
yeah. But I remember so clearly that the really cool thing, it doesn't happen very often, but full disclosure, I knew you before you got your job here. We played together in the Breckenridge Music Festival in Colorado, and I didn't know you were auditioning for this job at all.
Oh.
I had no idea. You know, we weren't really in touch per se about that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess I could have guessed maybe you would, but I didn't know. And so when you're sitting there and you finally say, okay, number 5 or whoever, number 10, were you number 10? I don't know. Anyway, number somebody, you know, is the winner.
I was number 1, John.
Of course, you're number 1. And, you know, our personnel manager comes out with the resume and he says, and the winner is Max Pipinich. And several of us, at least a couple of us, maybe more, on the committee knew you. And we were like, oh my God!
The crowd goes wild.
The crowd does go wild. Because we're so excited, like, for you. And the fact, too, that we, like, know you and like you. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so great. And the amazement at it's so hard to get through all those people and to make yourself shine, you know, to make it clear to the committee that, like, hey man, I've got something special here. So
thank you very much. That was that was a very gratifying moment, and it you know, doesn't in my heart doesn't downplay any of the struggles that I've had on the bassoon, but like that was really validating and encouraging, and and I'm very glad. I'm very grateful. Yeah.
Well, we're really grateful to have you here. So let's you're from Seattle. You're a Northwest kid.
Oh yeah, same as you.
Same as me. I'm from Oregon. Where did you? How long did you live in Seattle before you left?
I lived in Seattle for 18 years.
Okay.
Birth to graduation from high school in the same house. And where are you from? You're from Portland or from?
I'm from Eugene.
You're from Eugene? That's right. And my mother lives in Eugene now.
That's right. We talked about that. That's right. Yeah.
So does my grandfather and my aunt and uncle. And yeah, it's a Eugene family. That's where I go for holidays.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you find, like, you were playing in Buffalo. Obviously, you went to school in, remind me?
Yeah, and then I did grad school in Houston.
In Houston.
And I did one season in Louisiana Philharmonic before I moved to Buffalo. And
Right.
8 years ago.
You're Buffalo for a while, Houston, Oberlin, you said. And now really in the Midwest, in Kansas City. How, like, as a Northwest kid, how do you adjust to like different parts of the country? Like, how do you experience that?
I stopped paying attention.
Really?
I totally surrendered to the process a long time ago, and like I think I kind of do my own thing a little bit, and I have stopped hoping to live anywhere, and So it doesn't matter where I am. I'm just going to do the same old.
Sure.
I mean, that was in high school. I think I sort of realized that there was going to be very little choice about where I lived for the rest of my life. For school, we go to the best school that we possibly can to study with the best teacher that we possibly can, and that it doesn't matter if they're in Antarctica. Like, that's where we're going to go to school.
Right.
And then, if you run an audition, like, suddenly you live in that place, and that's the end of it. Like, I had never been to Buffalo. I'd never seen Buffalo on a map before the audition.
Yeah.
And I went, and it was, it went well, obviously. And Buffalo is like a really wonderful and lovely city that I think sort of shares a vibe in common with Kansas City a little bit.
Mm.
They're reminiscent of each other.
Yeah. How is that?
Well, I feel like, so there's not very much traffic in Buffalo.
Which is great.
At least in my neighborhood, there's not a whole lot of traffic getting to work. But I don't live out in the suburbs, so I shouldn't say that too loudly. Everyone's going to get mad at me. But I feel like there's a sort of like underappreciatedness to Kansas City that Buffalo shares with it. Like, it's sort of not seen as the destination it should be, I don't think, to outsiders. Am I like saying anything offensive yet? I'm like kind of nervous.
I don't think so. I hope not. Like, I don't know what questions are offensive or aren't offensive.
Oh, it's just the answers that are offensive.
Yeah, the answers, that's why I'm fine. It's just you're the one that gets in trouble. No, but I see what you mean. Like, they're two probably towns with a lot of pride and a lot of things happening that don't get noticed as much.
They're not like huge cities that everyone thinks about all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here we have barbecue. There they have buffalo chicken.
Buffalo wings, which in Buffalo you just call wings.
All wings. Yeah. Right.
There are no other wings.
TK says cities with lower self-esteem than they should have.
Yeah. Cities with self-esteem problems. Those are my favorite ones. Also, incidentally, I was chatting with TK the other day, and Buffalo has the area code 716, and Kansas City has the area code 816. And so I looked up the area code 916, and pretty soon I'm going to be living in Sacramento. That's
916.
Yeah.
That's your next move.
That's my next stop. I don't know when, but
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Yeah.
Sounds good. I always think it's funny. Occasionally, I think this happens a lot to orchestral musicians. You tell someone you're in the Kansas City Symphony, and they say, "Oh, great! What brought you to Kansas City?"
Oh no!
They're like, the Kansas City Symphony. What do you think brought you?
Yeah, that's akin to. Oh, what's your real job? Or,
well, that's a little
pay?
worse. Yeah.
You get paid for that?
That's a little worse.
Yep, that's my job. That's all I do.
That's my job, man. It's a good gig. We like it.
Right. Yeah, I got that a lot in Buffalo. Maybe I just haven't been very social in Kansas City yet. But
I don't get that too much here. Like every now and then, but mostly no. I think people
know kind of what's up.
They kind of know what's up. Like, it's a pretty amazing concert hall we have downtown, and
yeah, I guess that's probably huge.
I think you're like, you probably get paid to work in that building,
right?
Maybe.
Yeah, thank goodness.
So let's talk about. I want to talk about gaming.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because I know this is a big thing you do. You are a gamer.
Yeah, yeah. I sort of identify as a gamer, but also I basically only play one game, so I feel
Right.
like kind of an anti-gamer gamer.
Gotcha.
Um, and I guess in a way, like in that game, I play a game called League of Legends, and it's a in a genre of game called multiplayer online battle arena,
Okay.
where there are teams of 5 players that compete against each other um, to like destroy the opponent's base, basically. And
Hmm.
there are a whole bunch of different characters that you can play in the game, and I sort of like totally specialize. I play like one character basically all the time.
Okay.
And what's affectionately referred to as being a one-trick pony. And in the same way, I guess, I sort of specialize in League um, within computer games. Like, I don't really play a whole lot of other games.
Hmm.
And in the same way, I specialize as a bassoonist in the world, in life. And that's
Sure.
like, I think I just like am a specialist at heart. Like I care about very few things, but I care about them a lot.
Yeah. That's really what a lot of us are in a way. Is very much. We're very specialized and focused musicians. I mean, there are certainly classical musicians who are incredibly versatile out there and have a lot of different musical skills, but many of us are really like, this is the thing we do,
Yeah, I mean, everything else falls by the wayside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
kind of wonder, like, if I mean, because like we spend so much time like trying to be really good at one thing, and like for me, I know that for me it's the rest of my life. Like, if I'm going to do something, I'm gonna do it. Gosh darn it.
Mm-hmm.
And things that I'm not going to do, I just don't do, like, at all. You
Right.
know? And I remember in grad school, my teacher, Mr. Kimmons, tried to impress upon us the importance of doing things you're not good at. You know, like really embracing something that you're bad at.
Mm-hmm.
And I like can't quite get on board. Like, also I feel like if you, sorry, this is going to turn into a whole thing.
It's okay.
But like um, if you're spending time with something and you're trying to understand it, I'm assuming, like, won't you get better at it? I guess. I mean, I guess there are like like rates of improvement and stuff.
Certainly.
I don't know.
I definitely know classical musicians who are super talented who try another thing
Mm-hmm.
and get frustrated that they can't get good at the other thing very easily.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't thought a lot about what that is because I only do a few things, and I like to think I'm okay at them.
Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds awfully scary though. Embracing something that you're not good at.
That you're not good at. Yeah, I'm not too into that. I hate being
Yeah.
terrible at things.
Also, like embracing something that you're not good at and that you're not getting good at. Like, you're like, that's totally okay. I'm fine with this. I promise.
There's a Felicia here that wants to know what are some of the things that you were bad at.
I don't know. I'll have to get back to everyone on that.
What? Say again?
I said I'll have to get back to everyone on
If
that.
you get back to everyone on that, like make a list of the things you're really terrible
I'm
at.
bad at time management. How about that? But I keep trying to manage it anyway.
Maybe that's the problem.
Right.
So when you're playing League of Legends, is there a certain like the process of trying to get good at something, right? The process of trying to get good at this game and be successful at it. And you said before we talked earlier that that actually feeds into your bassoon practice or how you think about music.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so how I think about music sort of like bleeds into everything. And I think that when I incidentally, Tika DeWitt, who plays contrabassoon in the Kansas City Symphony, like taught me how to play League of Legends.
Okay.
And I'm very thankful. And he was very patient. It took a long time. And so like some of it was knowledge I got from him, but like at some point it becomes like self-improvement, like you're trying to find ways to better your own gameplay. And that is very much like learning learning something new on an instrument, or like trying to wrap your head around something on an instrument, it's obviously there are no notes and there are no keys and all that stuff. But like you're trying to, like, I want to accomplish this thing, and like, how do I do that? Like, I want to have a better win rate in the game or something. Like, how am I going to do that? And like, you have to sort of like dissect your gameplay into all of its sort of fundamental parts, in the same way that when I'm practicing bassoon, I'm practicing scales and long tones, and I work on legato, and I do different intonation exercises, and I find different ways to approach the same goal, and kind of see what works. Mr. Kim would also really like to talk about how practice should be playful experimentation, and instead of like banging your head against the wall. That doesn't work so hot, I don't think. And then when I'm trying to accomplish something in League of Legends, it's very, very much the same. There's a lot of playfulness to it, and there's a lot of like, okay, I'm going to do this one thing, and that's like all of my energy is focused on this one goal that I have, and within the context of the game, as I know how to play it, like I will focus entirely on that. And in the same way that when you're practicing for intonation, like all of the other parts of playing sort of fall by the wayside, but you're still executing them, but you're very focused on intonation. And at some point you get to like stop thinking about it as much, and it sort of blends itself into the whole endeavor.
Yeah.
Did that answer the question?
No, I think it's great. I think it's really interesting because I think a lot of musicians, probably a lot of successful musicians, find ways to learn in all kinds of avenues, because it's really a solitary endeavor. Like at the end of the day, it's you by yourself trying to figure things out.
Yeah,
and so
their instrument in a rehearsal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like for me, I mean, there's the famous book Inner Game of Tennis, but for me, it's golf. I find golf to be because you're competing only against yourself, and there's all kinds of just things about how you go about it and how you use your body that, the harder you try, the worse it is.
Yeah, that's for darn sure. I studied bowling pretty seriously in college, and that was very much my experience in bowling. The bowling teacher was this sort of like wise and gentle man who like had this like whole philosophical like approach to how bowling is all encompassing in life, and it was very interesting and totally applicable to everything. And he also talked a lot about the mental game of bowling, and the mental game of sports, which is the same as the mental game of music, and the discussion of like how to execute well in the heat of the moment, like how to give a good performance, was not really a huge part of the curriculum when I was in school. And I think more and more that is becoming a thing that more teachers are talking about, how to prepare yourself mentally for what is about to happen when you walk on stage. And you can't prepare for it 5 seconds before you walk on stage. It's like a whole thing you have to cultivate.
Right.
And that was not as much part of the discussion as I would have liked. And that's what drew me to bowling, I think. It was a way to sort of like hone my performance skills. Because what is bowling? I mean, it's the exact same thing as music, I think. You sort of like rehearse your actions, like you're swinging your arms and you're taking steps and all that stuff on your own, in your own time, and then you show up on league night and like you literally get up on stage at Oberlin. The approach was 6 inches above the rest of the floor, so you literally get on stage.
Wow.
And you like do your thing, and everybody watches, and everybody knows if you've succeeded or failed. And like that sounds very much like giving a concert.
Sure. And you get one shot. Once you let go of that ball, it's not coming back.
That is true, but bowling is also a sport of second chances, which I think was a valuable thing to think about too.
That is. What is your best bowling score ever?
Um, in a series of 3 games, I broke 700 once.
Wow.
Yeah, and so for that, I will forever be on the wall of the Oberlin College lands. They have a list of all of the 700 series um, uh, scores that have been bowled at Oberlin since they started tracking, like, I don't know, in the 80s or something like that. And I'm up there, and I'm going to be up there forever.
That's so
I think it
cool.
was like 701 or something. I made it. I did it.
Just made it.
But that's an average. That's an average of 233 pins a game.
Yeah, no, that is pretty good.
That was a fluke, but I was very happy.
I bowled a 192 in 8th grade. That's my best bowling game ever.
You know, it's all downhill from 8th grade. That's what they say, right?
That is when you peak. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
In bowling. Cool. What else? What else is happening here with Max? So you've been recovering from an ankle injury. I don't know if that's interesting to talk about.
Sure.
Tell us about, like.
Well, I slipped and fell in my dining room on April 20th of 2020, and really broke my ankle really bad. I was going around a corner, and I was walking in socks, and I totally slipped, and I'm trying not to cuss right now.
Yeah, no.
Fell really bad with that rotation, and one of the surgery residents told me that it was like worst case scenario rotational break in the ankle, both the tibia and the tib and the fib. I can't remember how those bones end.
No worries.
But I have a whole bunch of, and I went in for surgery, and I have a whole bunch of screws and a couple of metal plates. Like really quite a number of screws. I should probably count them. And they're all like, the break was really close to the ankle joint in both bones, and so like it's just like it was shattered down there, and like I don't know what they screwed anything to, you know? Like
Right.
But I couldn't put any weight on it for 3 months. Yeah, it was a really, really long time, and then I just started physical therapy after that. I mean, it was like 2.5 months, maybe, or certainly 2 months before I could like sit in a chair and put my foot on the floor and not have it be like excruciating. Like I literally was bedridden for that entire time.
Wow.
And started physical therapy a couple weeks ago, and I'm down to 1 crutch walking, which is really great because now I can carry things from one end of the house to the other, which is a big deal.
Yeah. And can you sit and practice?
Oh yeah, I can sit totally fine. Yeah, I mean, like at this point, I'm using my ankle in all kinds of ways, and it's mostly about building trust in my ability to hold weight there, since I haven't for so long, and also rebuilding a lot of the musculature, especially stuff for balance. You know, like little did I know your ankle kind of does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like all of those stabilizing muscles on the side of your leg, like that's how you don't fall over. I'm learning. I haven't fallen over, but I really suck at walking with my right leg. That is hard.
It's got to mess with your bowling career too.
Yeah, I think bowling's done. Actually stopped bowling a few years ago because I wasn't enjoying it anymore. It felt like a chore and not like something I wasn't doing it well. I wasn't like investing the time that I wanted to be able to bowl well. So I knew I was underachieving, which was so frustrating. Like doing something and not doing it as well as you know you can.
Right.
And also not putting in the time so that you do bowl well, you know, do it well. That was a very frustrating thing, and so I just kind of dropped it all. I was like, if I'm not going to do it like whole hog, I can't really do it at all. So I have all my balls, and I'm going to carry them around for the rest of time. But
TK wants to know if you can get one of those knee scooter things.
I suppose I probably could, yeah.
But at this point, maybe you don't really need it anymore, or you're on your way to not needing something like that.
I don't need it. I don't think. There we go. I thought that's what you were going for.
I'm disappointed in myself for not having it.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I was so immobile for such a long time, and then I like went straight to like basically walking.
Sure.
It's like, I don't know. And during the lockdown, like, where am I going to scoot? You know, like.
Right.
And at this point, I'd rather take a short walk, short, very slow walk, than scoot around town for something. You know.
Cool.
And I really enjoy driving the electric carts at the grocery store. I think it's fun. and they beep when you back up, which is really annoying.
Yeah, right. You should just wear a beard and feign an old man voice and start telling people to get out of your way, Sonny.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't even have to try very hard. It comes.
All right. Well, it's 7:30, and I don't want us to go on forever. Although I feel like we could chat about a lot of other different things.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important. I want to point out too that Max is a singer. Do you still sing at all?
You know, I'm so out of practice. I'm actually frustrated with myself for not doing it more.
It's like bullying. It's like, oh.
I mean, because singing like really informs my bassoon playing a lot, and like those two are so intertwined because they both use breath, and the on some level, all instruments are like came after the human voice. You know, the original instrument was the voice, and so in some sense, all of the instruments are trying to emulate something about the voice, and that's what people empathize with, and that's what moves people. And all of our instruments are a barrier to musical expression, and we have to overcome obstacles. You know, like the reeds and all the fingerings and the crappy notes and whatever. And there's something like really pure and simple about singing. Not that it's easy, but and like staying in touch with singing has always grounded my bassoon playing, I think, in a really meaningful way. So
that's the thing
so if anyone out there is a voice teacher, let me know.
There you go. That's a thing when you're listening to a great orchestra and occasionally you hear an instrumentalist make a sound that really sounds like the human voice a little, like there's like a little magical thing sometimes. You're like, wow.
Yeah,
it's kind of
like who is humming right now?
Yeah.
Like no, that's just like the oboe and the flute at the same time. And
right. Yeah. Exactly.
One moment in time, and like the next time you play that piece, it won't happen. It's like literally. I mean, it might happen. I don't know, but like.
Wow.
Like there's
Fingers
something
crossed,
so special about every time that we get together and play. And you never know quite what's going to happen or what it's going to feel like, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, Max, we're gonna close this off with a short quiz.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I'm nervous.
It's the most important part of our IG Live experience here.
Yep, I agree.
I'm not sure what to call the quiz show. If anyone has a title for the quiz show or the IG Live series, send me I should really check the questions here. Somebody asked what your favorite thing to do in addition to playing music and bowling is. What's your favorite thing to do outside of music and bowling?
I would say like bassoon, voice, bowling, formerly, gaming. I like, I don't do it as often as I should, but I like trying to improve the way my body works. I guess that's exercise. Like our bodies are our instruments, and if they don't work well, we can't play well. And that sort of connection to my physicality has always been really important for me.
What do you go to the gym, or do you do like exercises at home?
I used to lift. I did some yoga. I did a lot of yoga for a while around the house, but it was never like formal yoga. It was sort of like self-exploration, with, like part of yoga poses. And at this point, I'm doing a lot of physical therapy, which is
right.
which is the same. Actually, I think that physical therapy is very much like loading an instrument. We're sort of like trying to convince our bodies that it can do something that it thinks is impossible, and like we have to like try in many different ways and sort of like convince very slowly, our body that like, oh, you can do that, I promise. Like a square, you can totally handle this. You can play that fast. You can play that soft. You can play that loud. Whatever. And I'm doing the same thing with my ankle right now. Like, I promise, you won't break.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, let's see. I'm gonna go. I gotta get rid of. I had it. You probably can't see it. I've been putting up little pictures.
I can't see anything. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Bowling and League of Legends. But now I'm just going to. Can I do effects on IG Live? Oh, it doesn't look like it. Well, maybe I can. Hang on.
Well, if you like flicker the lights, you can have effects.
I'm the quiz master, so I need. There's my Casey Royals quiz master crown. Okay. All right. So we have 3 categories in the quiz show. The categories are who said it. These are quotes from famous composers that I will give to you, and you will tell me the composer in question. Yeah, I know. Number 2 is called John Sings. It's a terrible title, but I'm going to sing to you orchestral excerpts that are not the bassoon.
Oh, shoot. Okay, this is going to be tough.
Right?
Okay.
See, that's going to be hard. I think it's the hardest one.
Yeah.
And number 3, because your name is Max Pipinich, of course, number 3 is 3 questions about the musical Pippin. So,
this is going to be really good, folks. Let me tell you.
So select a category.
Let's start with Pippin, just to get it out of the way, please.
Absolutely. Let's get Pippin out of the way.
Yeah,
all right.
This is going to be bad.
It's probably not going to be that bad. Question number 1. Pippin, in the musical Pippin, was the son of A, Charlemagne, B, Richard the Short, or C, Anne of Green Gables?
Well, see, I like literally don't know anything about anything. This is what I tell people: is that like anything that people know,
you don't know. That's okay.
Know like
That's
a bunch of other stuff. Okay. I'm gonna. Okay, so this is about. I don't know anything about Pippin, and I'm gonna say it's not Anne of Green Gables. And
good call.
What were the other? Charlemagne was one, and the other one was somebody the Short.
Richard the Short.
Richard the Short. That sounds absurd. I'm gonna go with Charlemagne.
And you are correct.
Oh, very good. Thank goodness.
That's 1 point on the board for Max. All right. Second question in the category.
I feel like I'm on wait, don't tell me.
Yeah, I'm trying real hard. Everything I'm doing here is stolen. The musical Pippin involves the breaking of A, the Berlin Wall, B, the Fourth Wall, C, the Great Wall of China.
I'm going to go with the Fourth Wall.
Yes, B, the Fourth Wall. A lot of breaking of the Fourth Wall, which if you're not a theater person out there, that's when the actors on stage talk to the audience instead of pretending that they're in a play. All right. And question number 3, and I'm very proud of this question. One of these 3 is a song from the musical Pippin. Is it, and this is, you might not, this is tricky. Is it Corner of the Sky? Is it Giants in the Sky? Or is it the Schuyler Sisters?
I know Corner of the Sky is a song.
Oh, you do? Wow.
Yeah, I sang it in choir once. It was very sappy. It was lovely. I'm going to go with that.
Corner of the Sky is correct. Well done. That's very well done. Schuyler Sisters is from Hamilton, and Giants of the Sky is from Into the Woods. All right. Pick your second category, Max.
Oh my gosh. What? Can we do John Sings, please?
Let's do John Sings.
Thank you.
Can't wait for this. Let's see. I gotta get mine. It's gonna be amazing. All right. So I have 3 orchestral excerpts, and they are by 3 different instruments that are not the bassoon. And I'm gonna sing them badly. So that's part of the challenge.
The layer of difficulty is added.
Yeah. All right. Here is your first orchestral excerpt. Okay. And I'll sing it for a bit here.
Oh
What do you think?
Um,
I can give you more.
I know. Wait, is this Prokofiev, Romeo and Juliet? Something?
Oh, so close! So
Oh,
close!
am I in the wrong Prokofiev?
You're in the wrong Prokofiev piece.
um, um, oh, jeez, I don't.
We'll give you partial credit for that. It's
Okay,
Prokofiev
fine.
Classical Symphony. It's the
Okay.
it's the
Okay.
crazy flute excerpt that goes
It
up
was
to like
very
a high.
distinctly Prokofiev, though. That was well done.
Thank you. I feel good about it. All right. The next one. Let's see. What's harder? I'm not sure. I really don't know what's hard and what's not. So I apologize if I'm not trying to embarrass
Everything
anyone.
is hard, and nothing is hard.
Exactly. All right. Here's the next one. Ba-dum, bum, bum, da, 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 dun, dun, da. Do, 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 da, da, dum, dum, da, 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 dum, ba-dum, bum.
That is that's from the Carnival of the Animals. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Very good.
Yeah.
What? There are no bassoons in the Carnival of the Animals.
There are no bassoons. It's a low instrument, though, for sure.
Yeah, but I do recognize it. I'm proud of that one.
That's good. It's the double bass elephant.
There you go. Okay, yeah, I thought it was the elephant.
Yeah.
But it's
all right.
A really French thing to blurt out. You know, that's the elephant, right?
It's the elephant.
Like,
that is right. All right. Here's the last one. I think this is probably the hardest one, but who knows? Dee da da dee da dee da 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 dee da 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 ba da ba da ba da dee da 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 dee da.
you know, I can sing along with you, but I can't remember for the life of me what piece that is.
But if you know it though, right? You know it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was with you for that journey.
I'll give you a hint. It is a clarinet excerpt.
That's Sibelius 1.
Ah, so
Hey, there we
good.
go.
I'm so impressed. I'm terrible at this kind of stuff. Like you could play stuff for me all day long. Oh, thank you, TK. My pitch is impeccable. If anyone out there gives me crap about not singing the right notes, I'm gonna just don't even start.
Anyone with
Not a perfect pitch. I just make it up as I go.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
There was a very spirited performance of the excerpt. I can tell you know it well.
No, I was gonna say if I was doing this, I would recognize everything and be unable to place it. Like I just
Right, yeah.
I have a disconnect between like the sounds and being able to put a name and a composer. So I'm impressed with that effort. All right, our last category is oh yes, who said it? These are 3 quotations by famous classical composers. And we'll just start at the top here. Okay. I must confess that I lead a miserable life. For almost 2 years, I have ceased to attend my social functions just because I find it impossible to say to people, I am deaf.
That would be Beethoven, I suppose.
That is Beethoven, feeling very, very bad about being deaf.
Yeah, feels bad, man.
That's gotta be tough. Okay, which one of these is easier? I think this one is easier. I'm trying to save the hardest one for the last. You know.
Well, why did you do that? Gosh.
All right, second question. Second quotation. And this is a multiple choice, so I'll give you 3 options.
Okay.
It must be a sign of talent that I do not give up, though I can get nobody to take an interest in my efforts. Is that A, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, B, Leonard Bernstein, or C, Fanny Mendelssohn?
Fanny Mendelssohn.
Indeed, it is Fanny Mendelssohn. Sign of talent she does not give up, though no one is paying attention to her efforts. No surprise, of course.
Everyone is paying attention to the other ones plenty.
Yeah, everyone's paying attention to those guys. Fanny Mendelssohn, of course, the sister of the famous composer
Felix.
Felix? Is his name Felix?
Yeah.
Felix Mendelssohn. And she was a great composer and pianist of her own right. But of course, she lived in the 1800s, and women were not really treated as equals in these regards, and many others. All right, and last quotation. And I love this quotation, but I don't know. I wouldn't blame you for not knowing it. Tradition is not the worship of the ashes, but the passing on of the fire.
That one's not multiple choice.
It's not multiple choice. I can give you multiple choice if it'll help. Let's see.
I think I need help.
He needs help. He needs help. Okay. Tradition is not the worship of the ashes, but the passing on of the fire. Same composer also said, I'm hitting my head against the walls, but the walls are giving way. Is it Gustav Mahler, Igor Stravinsky, or Bela Bartok?
I mean, I was sort of guessing Stravinsky after you said the second thing, but I suppose I'm going to say it's not Bartok. It could be Mahler also, but I'm going to go with Stravinsky.
I'm going to go with Stravinsky. It's a good guess. It's Mahler.
Okay, fine.
Mahler. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tradition is not the worship of the ashes, but I love that. I love that quote though, because it's like I always remember that when we're talking about classical music and playing music by people from 200 years ago, and there's something wrong with us because we're
right.
Can
you read it one more time for me?
Sorry. Yeah. Tradition is not the worship of the ashes, but the passing on of the fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that because it's like, it's not less valid just because somebody did it 200 years ago. This is just as incredible as it ever was. The reason we still do it is because it's so great.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. All right, Max. Good job on that quiz.
Thank you very much. I got like 8.5 or something.
I think, I think you won. I think you won the quiz.
I was competing against everybody else who was nobody else. And, I beat them all, and none of them.
Definitely dominated. Well, thanks so much
for having me on the show, John.
For chatting with me. It was fun. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did very much so. Thank you.
I'm glad we could share a little bit about you for everybody out there listening on the interwebs.
Yeah, this was really fun, and like I'm glad to Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, man. Oh wait, I got one more question for you before we go. What other instrument do you wish you could play as well as you play the bassoon?
The French horn.
French horn.
Yeah, absolutely.
No hesitation.
Yeah.
French horn is an amazing instrument.
It's the coolest one of them all. Like it's so versatile and can fit in so many niches and like it's totally an incredible instrument.
Yeah.
You can play lower and higher than the bassoon, like with ease. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I could go along with that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much, Max. Thanks everybody for listening out there.
Thank you so much, John.
Yay. Talk to you later. Bye, everyone.